What's up YouTube? Welcome to another EU4 time-lapse, and today we have given 32 tech to the rarest and most hidden nations in EU4. Now how did I pick these nations? Well, we looked at Alzabo HD's video, well his most recent one on the rarest unknown nations in EU4, and took the nations that he listed there and, well, gave them all 32 tech. So thanks to Alzabo for making a video on the rarest and most unknown nations. We got the Zulu, Hobson, Kalka and Koshud, Kulin, Israel, Itara, Kalmyk, Tunying, Sapmi, which actually wasn't on his most recent video, it was on an older one, but the number one video on his list is so rare and hidden that I literally couldn't get it to form. So I went with Sapmi because a viewer had recommended that. And last but not least, Saleh. And with that, make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and let's see which of the rarest and most hidden nations in EU4 ends up at the end. It'll be interesting to see if the early game is similar to what we normally see out of EU4, but I would expect not because, well, there's a lot of 32 tech nations. One of the Tibetan Mongol tribes there has already just formed COM, just did. Sapmi is eating into Sweden, which that is not a surprise. Wow, they're going for Novigrad. They are really going at it there. Actually, those Tibetan tribes aren't doing too much. The purple country in India, whose name evades me, but it is one of the formables, is also doing quite a bit of work down there. Israel is eating away at the Mamluks, and I think Sale is gone. The Australian tribe is covered by the map, but I honestly don't really expect anything to happen down there, so we'll check at the end and see if anything happened down there. I believe Zulu has just... Is that technically colonial if they had to have used water there to skip over that unterritorialized territory there. Israel is expanding, which is honestly exactly what I wanted to see. There is some stuff going on in that North African region. I'm not sure exactly which country that red one is, but there is a country there that is doing quite well. And then we also have some Portuguese expansion. It looks like the Indian nation there created a formable. Kham is just going crazy, and Kalka is, I think Khan is Kalka. There's some weird stuff going on with the time lapse. That happens. We'll take a look once we bounce out of the time lapse and can get a look at like, okay, this is actually what the map looks like. Israel is doing really well for itself. I expect North America to be a pretty standard North American game. I don't see too much sort of impeding on that. There isn't really anyone to mess with the colonizers. The main one that I would have thought of would have been Sale, but I think they're gone already. Like, they just didn't do well. Oftentimes when you give an OPM 32 tech, they can have trouble actually with that much power while being so little, and I think that's exactly what we saw there. Sapmi is doing really well for itself. Israel is continuing to expand, and the Ottomans are trying to take advantage of a weakened Mamluk, but I think that they are about to hit a strengthened Israel. Zulu are not doing nearly as much as I would have liked them to do. Come on, guys. Like, let's expand. You got colonizers right next to you. Just take them out. The Lake Victorian nation, which I think was Kituru, something like that, they haven't done anything, which isn't surprising because the Lake Victorian nations tend to, well, not do anything. Kalka is doing amazing, and I actually kind of like the time-lapse with Kalka, Khan, and then that orange one, which I can't remember exactly which one it is. Marathas just formed Delhi, that's something there. But it's creating this sort of tribal, massive nations. Oh, Kalka and Kham are different. I have no clue what's going on over in Asia. It's an absolute mess. China is just gone. Sapmi, I worry that Sapmi is just going to form Russia, and it's just going to make me sad, because I would as much as that yellow is hideous, I don't know if the Russian green is any, and there it is. There it is. Why? Just why? It was bound to happen. Israel is, oh my god. Also, teal is one of the best EU4 colors. Just absolutely one of the best EU4 colors. Zulu is continuing to expand along that coastline there. Kalka is hitting Russia. They just got pushed back a little bit. They are continuing to be able to expand in the Asian regions, but they sort of pushed into Europe, and Sapmi just said, nope, that ain't happening. Delhi right now is, I want to say they're on their like third transition. Like, that nation has just been changing tags constantly. So we'll see if they end up as Delhi or if they decide to change one more time into something else. Zulu, we can finally see the Zulu tag there. They are looking pretty good. And actually, that Qatar nation, the Lake Victoria nation, has done a little bit of expanding. It'll be interesting to see if they continue to do that in the next 100 years or so, or if they're pretty content with where they are. Oh my goodness, Sapmi, aka Russia, just hit sort of the Siberian and said, hey, we have the ability to colonize all of this. And Kalka is probably sitting there like, snap, we have a giant border with Russia now. That just does not end well. Delhi has almost managed to unify India. Israel, honestly, I'm a little disappointed. They have not done nearly as much as I would have thought that they would have done. They are starting to push into the Ottomans there, and they finally sort of unified that Mamluk region, but I really thought with them sort of having a pretty strong power base, that's a pretty decent tech region, development region that they start in. And I don't know, I really expected more out of them that we did not see. England and Portugal just basically divided up the New World and said, you take the North, I'll take the South. Although Portugal's breaking that a little bit with Florida there, and Spain's like, we'll take the Mexican Caribbean region. Oh, Israel, big name Israel. I love you, big name Israel. Russia just looks like Russia. Honestly, actually, this is what Russia wishes Russia looked like. They could just get rid of Cyber and maybe take off that northern chunk of Kalka, owning all of the north. They even own Denmark. That is absolutely amazing. Did the Ottomans just... I'm so confused. That looked like the Ottomans just took a chunk out of Russia, which doesn't make any sense because of the fact that Russia should not lose a war against those Ottomans. Those Ottomans are an absolute mess. Still nothing happening in the New World. Australia, as expected, tier Australia. They just got colonized. So that 32 tech tribal nation in Australia did absolutely nothing. Especially the tribal nations, if you boost them, you almost need to give them a little extra kick in order to get them to start rolling. A lot of times you see that in EU4 where you need to give something just a little extra kick and then the ball starts rolling. And with that, that is going to bring us to the end of this timeline. And it looks like we've got maybe 4 or 5 of our nations that we started with still exist if we count Russia as Sapmi. Let's take a look. This is what Israel thinks the Middle East looks like. It just fits so well that Zulu just went coastlines. My goodness. This might be the greatest border I have ever seen in EU4. Could you divide that island up better? I mean, yeah, Marina's got a little bit more, but wow. That is an amazing border. Border gore warning in the Balkans. Cardell existing in 1821 is a win. Somehow, Kalka ended up with Taiwan. Portuguese Alaska is my favorite Alaska. I also love that little bit of British Alaska under the ESE. You know, Qatar did alright. Kind of. I mean, they didn't do much, but they did expand a little bit. That one Caucasus nation that we formed at the beginning that I can't remember the name just did nothing. Is it just me, or is West Africa full of really bright colors? Culturally, North America is a mess. South America is Brazilian. There's a lot of Novigrad in Asia. That Kalka got spread around quite a bit. Sami, they didn't really push. Well, this is interesting. A lot of Orthodox. Israel is Sunni. Kalka is no religion. Syncretic faith. I don't know if we've seen that before. It says here that they're Catholic. They are no religion. This area has no population and therefore no religion. So their whole country has no population. And religion, no religion. The people of Govi are followers of the no religion faith and considered true believers by the no religion state religion of Kalka. What? Dynastically, we had a personal union between Spain and France. That is absolutely horrifying. The Tudors leading England in 1821 is beautiful. Seeing Israel led by the Nogahid as a Sunni nation, it's wrong. That Lake Victorian region has so much development right now. My goodness, that is green. I also like the contrast with that region of how developed it is around the lake, and then right outside of it is just desolate wasteland. And finally, our 8 great powers of the world. We got number 1, we've got Russia with 5,018 development, Delhi with 4,879, Israel with 4,387, Dali with 3,960, Portugal with 3,579, Kalka with 3,566, Spain with 3,399, and Great Britain with 3,095. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have an idea for a video that you would like to see, do leave a comment down below. I do read all of them, and I put every suggestion onto my list of things that we should do at some point. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, because if you're still here, it means you must have enjoyed this video somewhat. And every time you hit that like button and you subscribe, it makes it more likely that I'm able to put these videos out on a more regular basis. So if you're enjoying what you're seeing and you want to see more, make sure to like and subscribe. With that, I'll see you guys in the next one. Wreath out.